What's up, guys? Matt Walton here on another episode of Avodah Talk. And man, this is geared towards just kingdom entrepreneurs or kingdom people in the marketplace. And really, this page is meant to fire you up to use your business, your influence, your platform to make an impact in the kingdom and to bring the kingdom here on earth and to partake in the kingdom economy rather than the Babylonian economy. So today I want to talk about letting go and the importance of letting go. And I'm going to get into exactly what I mean by that. I know y'all hear me talk a lot about delegating, but that is because delegating is one of the most important things as you grow in your business that you can do to continue to grow within your business. So I had heard a guy say one time that if he did not learn the art of delegating, he would have only been able to do $3 million in revenue, but instead he was able to do $300 million in revenue year after year because he learned the art of delegation. So I want to talk about just that. And, we always tie everything to Scripture because there's power and authority that is found in Scripture. There is no power and authority found in anything that I say outside of what I say that has to do with Scripture. So we learn this principle from Exodus 18, and then we see it played out in Nehemiah, the story of Nehemiah. But we know Moses had his father-in-law, Jethro, came and told him to delegate because he had all these people that were coming up to him, making the request known to him so he can make them known to God. And then his father-in-law came in and was like, "Why are you doing this?" And so you need to get men of God to come in and take the bulk of these, and then you take the big ones. And so that same principle applies to us in business. So same thing with Nehemiah, man. Nehemiah, there was a ton of people that came before Nehemiah to try to rebuild that wall, but they were never able to. Number one, I believe because they weren't called to, they didn't have God on their side to be able to do that. But then number two, it's because God gave Nehemiah the wisdom to go in and delegate and empower people to do what they do best. And so he had teams of people that were working around the clock to rebuild the wall. And as a result of that, he was able to rebuild it in 52 days. I mean, this is a massive wall that he was able to rebuild in a very, very short time. So I want to say, before you really start to elevate, right? There's different levels of business, man. I've been in business for only myself to where I did everything, did the bookkeeping, did every single thing, did the scheduling, did all the emails, did everything within the business. Now, it was a smaller business than my current businesses, but it was a very great thing for me to do because I was able to learn a number of different tasks to where now I know and kind of what I'm looking for when I'm looking for those specific things to be done. So I recently had hired an individual that was handling all of my operations. The heart behind this is I really am praying that this individual is going to be operating my companies here in the next couple of years. That is the intention behind this, is at least maybe one or two of my companies to have this gentleman run it if things continue to progress the way that they're progressing. So in order to go up, in order to go to that next level, you must let go. So just imagine you're climbing a rope. In order to go to that next level on that rope, you have to let go. So we have to let go before we ever are able to go to the next level. So I used to handle all of my operations, handle all of my scheduling, handle all of my meetings with my guys, handle everything in my shop. And then I learned about delegating. And through that delegating, I delegated it out to the top guy in my shop at the time, the one that was most knowledgeable. And then I learned of different things to look for in a leader in the shop. And so that gets into right people, right seat, because what you're going to see is when you empower people to go to do something, you put parameters in place, you lay out the expectations, and then you empower them to do what they're doing. And then if they continue to fall short, then you know that you have the wrong person in the wrong seat. It doesn't mean that they're not great for your business or they can't do well in another position, but they're just not right for that position. And there's nothing wrong with that. You just have to use discernment and partner with God. This is the importance of partner with God, so that way God will bring the right person into your life, and then you can delegate to them. And then that way that empowers them to do what they do, and then you can do a whole lot more things. Because we as business owners, a lot of times, we want to control every single thing, but it's until you let control go that then you start to experience a lot of growth. And so I've experienced that big time over the course of the last year within my business, and it's been a blessing, man. So the other thing on the outside of that is we have to create some teams, and through creating teams, what that does is that allows for. I remember earlier when I was talking about I did everything. I posted this stuff on social media. I did everything for the business, but creating teams and empowering people. So you have a media team, or you have a client relations team, or you have an HR, or you have operations. That may just be one person at first, and then you're growing. And then as the business grows, you add people underneath them, and then you recreate them with the people that were underneath them. And so that way, then they just keep recreating themselves. So you get more ideas in place. And that way, you're not concerned about handling every single phone call or every single concern that comes in. You have empowered people. They have the knowledge to be able to handle everything that comes down the pipeline. So when you're creating a team, you want to make sure that you're providing every bit of information that you can. So I created a sales team earlier this year. And within that, I brought them in and we did a sales training to where they were provided with everything that they needed to succeed, access to the CRM portal, brochures of how we do things, expectations in regards to calls. All of that was laid out and was presented to them to where they came to my factory for one day and we did basically a school for one day and just taught them everything that was needed. And then that continued, right? It didn't just stop there. That continued with weekly meetings. And so when you're creating a team, just know, man, find somebody and empower them to then take that over and step back. Because if you continue to micromanage that after you've empowered somebody, that person is not going to be with you long. They're going to get tired of that, and they're going to go do something else for somebody else or go do their own thing. So when you're creating teams, make sure that you are providing all the information and then you're allowing that individual to flow and to do what they do best. But the most important things about creating teams is we go back to partnering with God, and you need to pray that God will reveal who that individual is to you, make it abundantly clear, and then you empower them. And not before that. You have to pray about it, use discernment. God will bring somebody into your life, then you empower them, you bring it up to them, and then you go about it from there. The next thing is you have to get, I know so many business owners that are one-man shows, and there's nothing wrong with that because we all have to start somewhere. And then maybe that's your desire. Maybe you're like, listen, I only want to do all of this myself, but there's a better way. Like if you want to go in and if you actually want to stop working in your business and start working on your business, then you have to learn the art of delegation. And until you do that, you're going to find yourself being limited of what you can do, because when you empower people, you go a whole lot further than if it's just with yourself. So in order to get to the place to where you're working in your business or working on your business versus in your business, is you start to peel back the layers and you start to say, what can I give to somebody else? So this is something that I am doing on it's on a regular basis, but I would encourage you to, it just depends on where you're at in business. This may be a once a year thing, maybe a quarterly thing, every 6 months, every week, every month. I don't know. It just depends on how you are. But I analyze this regularly. I haven't gotten my schedule down to where I look at it monthly just yet, but that's my next goal, is to have a day where I look at things monthly. I sit down with my team and then I think, what am I doing right now that I can give up, that I can allow somebody else to do? That way I can continue to go to the next level. Because if I hold on to these tasks, then that's going to continue to bog me down and hold me in this one spot, versus empowering somebody else to do that. Then I'm able to step back and focus on big picture and next level tasks. But you have to get away from doing the small little tasks, such as, writing a paper or typing up an email or doing some stuff like that. However, I just created a discipleship program, which I'm going to talk about in another video, that goes with my HR department. And I had to hyper focus for a couple of weeks and literally lock myself in my office after I had my meetings and everything. And that way I wasn't being pulled away like I normally am, and just focused on that. And then that allowed for me to come out of there with a 12, 13-page document that then now we're able to implement within the business. So there are times within your business, especially you, that you sit at the top of your business, that you're going to have to lock yourself away, go to the mountains, go to the coffee shop, go to the restaurant, and sit down, detach yourself from the business, get further away so that you can work on a big picture task, and then you can take a completed task to your people and empower them to do whatever it is that you're working on. And for me, that was my performance improvement plan or my discipleship program. So what can I give to somebody else? That's a great question to ask yourself. And then just choose one person. Maybe that's your wife. Maybe that's a family member. But then just start to empower them to do that. And I promise you, your business will start to grow just incrementally. And then there'll be a time whenever it hockey sticks, and it's as a result of you being obedient to God, but learning some of these biblical principles and partaking in the kingdom economy rather than the Babylonian system. Because business, if you learn these things and you learn how to step out of your business, it's one of the most freeing things in business when you actually learn this art of delegation. And when you start looking at it like, what can I give to somebody else? What am I doing today? What have I done over the last month that I can give to somebody else? And for you, that may be every 6 months, quarterly, every year. but step back, take inventory over what you have done over that period of time, and figure out what you can give to somebody else. That way you can focus big picture items. It's not so that you can give somebody all your work and then you can sit back and kick your feet up. That's not what it's like to be a leader and sit at the top of your business. It's so that you can focus next level and take your business to where I believe that God's called all of us within the kingdom to take our businesses to. So hopefully this helps you guys. Man, every single week I strive to bring you guys the most value I possibly can. But just know this, man, I'm focused more on souls, winning souls for the kingdom, and then seeing people transform their businesses or start businesses as kingdom businesses, because I believe that that's where we're going to make an impact within our culture. So, and then families and all of that. So click the follow button for more, and make sure you share this with your friends, and we'll see you next week.